My short film, Where Snakes Roam, is really about these two girls. It's a coming-of-age story, and they live in this perfect, rather claustrophobic world, and it's perfect to the point of degree where there's no outside interference, there is no decay, no disharmony, and of course we all know that perfection isn't true in nature, so obviously something's going to break sooner or later, and when Carly begins to notice a strange pattern in her father's behavior, then she investigates and she discovers that her father is not who he actually is. I just came back from New Zealand and I was planning to shoot this post-apocalyptic story here in the woods outside of Austin somewhere. I just was planning to go out there and hit it, and I rewrote the story in multiple different ways over a couple, I would say 3 weeks. Had it cleaned up the next day, and then I just sent it off to a few readers, had them give me their feedback, and from then on a couple more tweaks. As far as the story theme, I've always been fascinated about the domination of one mind over another, and so that was definitely in the foreground of my thoughts as I was writing the story.
Never speeding? Slate?
Where Snakes Roam, 11A, take 1. Action.
The most difficult character, I would say, it'd have to have been Paul. Justin Durbin, who was playing Paul. I really had a lot of different people I was going through to cast that character, and then of course when I thought of Justin, it made perfect sense. But it's a tough character to portray because you have a person who does a 180. He goes from being this absolute villain, you know, he murders people in cold blood. He'll take them home, kill them, stack them away, probably dismember them as well, God knows what, you know. And then you have a person who is loving to the point he would sacrifice his life for his two daughters. So just the extremes of that, I didn't want a person who would make that difficult. He had to have extreme fluidity of emotional expression, and I think Justin is perfect for that. I'm very excited to, you know, be working with him on it.
Camera set?
Action.
Yo, Joe, come here. I found his brats.
And cut.
Yeah, so she asked me to be involved, and thought I'd play the perfect part as a hitman who keeps his little girls hidden within their house. And but he's very sweet to him, but outside of the homestead, he's just a cold-hearted killer.
The law of imminent order states he dies tomorrow. Just do me a favor. Don't mess it up this time.
Come on, Paul. She was sneaking around the house. What else could I do?
By immediately shooting the traitor, morons. Gutting her like that? She ran half the valley.
Paul comes from a lonely world. Something happened in the past where he met his wife, had 2 kids. You know, he came from a dark world, but his 2 kids kind of lightened him up. So it became a totally new reality, but he could not let go of his job. He had this passion, strong passion, and he just couldn't help it. He's just a killer. He's soft on the inside, but tough on the outside. He loves his kids very deeply. He wants them to have a normal life, but he knows from the circumstances of his job that that will never happen. So he does the best that he can to live with that decision and the decision to keep his kids away from the rest of the world.
Run!
I find it fun how we get to dress up and actually follow the scripts, and it's fun. I really like the whole thing about it's meeting everybody and being on a camera. I think it's just really, really fun. I like Carly because she's brave. It's funny. Because I'm not really that brave. I would not be doing any of this. I'd be going right down into the woods, just heading down there. I would not be doing any of that.
Father, he really loves his girls, but he tends to relate far more to Leela, and that is shown through the story and his more intense affection to her, and that's also because she reciprocates the affection. She's a far more open, she's a lively character, and she is easier to respond to love. Carly is more introspective, she keeps to herself, she's very thoughtful, she enjoys watching patterns. We have a couple of moments in this story where she very rigorously goes about cleaning up the area or setting out cuts in a perfect line, adjusting them, and that's how she manages to see that there's something wrong in Paul, her father's behaviors.
Hi, my name is Todd Waldron. I'm the sound dude for this project, and I'll also be doing some post-production sound when the time comes. Essentially, my job is to capture the location sound, so all the dialogue and as much of the environment as I can, so that we have that to use in post-production. And then later on, once we get into post-production, I'll be collecting other sounds from my library. Probably end up doing some Foley, bringing in the actors to maybe do some voiceovers or some ADR. I think a lot of it is going to be the dialogue, as far as the father interacting with the children. That's really important, because we want to get the sense of the father is very protective of the children and is trying to shield them from this. So getting that raw emotion. For instance, there's a scene which we shot this morning where he's trying to get the children to run down into the forest for safety, and so there's a lot of emotion there where it's kind of a life or death situation for the kids, and so making sure that was really captured, sound wise.
Hi, I'm Jason Zentner. I'm doing the makeup special effects for this project, Where Snakes Roam. I saw that it's not, a gory horror movie or anything like that, and so I knew I was going to have to kind of hold back on what I normally do, because I've worked on a few horror films and some music videos with a lot of gore in it, and this is something that, where it's violent, it has to be something more realistic and subtle, and so I knew I wanted to bring something like that to the film. To me, the script feels a little bit surrealistic in a way, and I figured that would be something I'd try to bring into this with just, the way the violence should look. Not taking it overboard, but still making it disturbing.
Hi, I'm Schiffer Meditz from the production Where Snakes Roam. I just want to have a quick shout out, big thanks to Mikari Productions for being on set and doing this behind the scenes footage. I really appreciate it, guys. And I also want to thank my fantastic crew. You guys have been so helpful. You've worked really hard and it's been a fantastic time to spend this with you. So best of luck and let's get this thing wrapping.